killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
So if you didn't see on TikTok, the story was going viral. Savannah Craven, who's interviewing on the streets, is attacked by a pro-abortion person. Now, the conversation is actually pretty lengthy, but the snippet that was going around TikTok was a woman punching her. Now, you might say to yourself, oh my God, what happened? Why would this happen? Let's watch and let's see what led up to the attack. And do we feel like it was reasonable, justified, expected, could have been predicted? Or do we feel like it was 100% unethical, never tolerated, this woman should be in jail? How do we feel about it?
You have a channel?
Yeah, we're doing some interviews today.
I love your skin tone too.
Thank you. Such a good vibe.
Of course.
Well, awesome. So we're asking people's opinion today on Planned Parenthood. Are you familiar with them?
Yes.
Okay. And do you
Look at the first of all, they started off so good. Look how nice that beginning was. Complimenting each other, love each other. She's vibing, very good energy.
know what they provide?
Yes. Abortions.
Yes.
Yes.
And STI testings and basic screenings and contraceptives and a lot of other. I've gone to Planned Parenthood many, many times in my life and I've never had an abortion.
Okay.
Safe abortions.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you know any other services that they provide?
I know, like, to teens, if you're under 18, you could get like birth control, condoms, counseling. They offer a lot of, beneficial things that the youth really should use right now.
Okay. So you have a pretty positive view of Planned Parenthood.
I mean, majority. I don't know. Is this like a yes or no? Am I
It's
wrong?
your opinion.
But yeah, that is definitely my opinion. I feel like, especially as teens, people get caught up in things that they really don't want to commit to for their entire lives. So if you get caught up with the wrong guy, you think you're in love, and then now you stuck. Not stuck, but you're stuck with a baby for the rest of this time, literally the rest of their lives and your life, if you're that kind of mother, because some women just don't have it in them and they abandon them and abuse them and all kind of shit. And it's like, girl, just get rid of it if you know you're gonna do that.
Oh, she has a very infectious, she's funny. I'm not gonna lie. I think she's kind of funny, but she's got an idea, but you can tell she's not probably very active in pro-choice activism. She's not probably dealing with organizations. So here we have an interviewer who, quote, knows better than the person they're interviewing, and they're going to get them in a gotcha, right? You can tell a gotcha is coming. This woman's coming in full faith, good faith, positive, optimistic. She's coming in just talking like a person, kind of like she's talking to a girlfriend. And you just know this interviewer, she's like, boom, you just know she's going to come out with something. Okay, let's see.
Get rid of them. Why not just give them to another family? That's good.
No, but exactly, even that, and that's another option that Planned Parenthood offers. So it's like, if you know that you are not the being who can provide for this child, then there are alternative options out there for you. So I think Planned Parenthood is a space that creates something that's safe for women, especially teens, Black and Latina teens, especially because it's free. You can call them, go to them. I know because I've worked with the Children's Aid Society for a long time. So
never mind. I got called out. She has worked with organizations, maybe not pro-choice, pro-life ones, maybe not Planned Parenthood, but look, she has done activism work. We love her.
Aligned with them, but yeah, I feel like if, as a woman, pro-choice is your...
Chat says, can we normalize calling pro-life people anti-choice? Feels better fitting. Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct. They are anti-choice. I'll try to change that. I should change that in my vocabulary. Pro-life is just better for clicks because everybody knows what it means. And that's a part of the dilemma. But anti-choice is true. They are anti-choice.
Option, because men, if they want to just get up and go, they can, honestly.
They shouldn't. But...
They shouldn't. They never should. I grew up with two sets of grandparents and my parents, and please, everybody, lives happily ever after, but nobody else, not nobody else, but a lot of people do not experience the same kind of lifestyle or childhood that I grew up with, having two parents and grandparents and people to look up to and things like that. So I definitely understand why people do abort children. Don't have babies that you don't want. Don't have babies that men are telling you in front of your face that they do not want. I wish them would stop doing that. It's like a plan to...
Why don't they just stop having sex with people they don't want to have a child with?
That too. Or to just don't have unprotected sex, be smarter about your choices, get on birth control. There's so many options, especially if you're a teenager, especially in New York City. Okay. Children's Aid Society, please reach out to them. They do. I
mean, she's giving, see? So they have a lot of overlap with their beliefs. We should be having sex with better people. We should be choosing better. We don't always. I've been there. But that's why I'm a big fan of birth control. That's why I'm a big fan of contraceptives. Because sometimes while you're making bad choices, you don't have to make all the bad choices. No one's perfect. Hopefully, as we get older and wiser, we learn to make better choices. That's kind of the point of growing up, is that eventually you make better choices.
Do a lot of free counseling, a lot of free clinical work, STD checks, abortion abortion, all kind of things that you can go to speak to someone about if you aren't really sure before making the final decision. But to me, it's always pro-choice, your body, your life, because that baby is gonna be a baby.
It's a baby.
Yeah, and you're gonna have that baby
person.
forever. So yeah.
Well, do you know that Planned Parenthood gets nearly $700 million of our taxpayer money every year?
700 million. I mean, honestly, I can't go against Planned Parenthood. I just can't.
Okay.
I just can't.
You think that's a lot of money?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a lot of money, because if we're being honest, Elon Musk, he can literally stop world hunger twice.
Sure, but we're talking about
He'll
Planned
have
Parenthood, they could stop world hunger. I mean, $700 million a year. Imagine if you made $700 million a year, where you'd be at in a decade.
Wait, she got you with that Elon example. Look how she ignored that and she said, but imagine if you made 700 million. Yeah, but Elon. No. See. This girl made a great argument and then she twisted around. She's like, but you could be rich.
$700 million for how many single mothers?
Of our money. But they're not giving it to single mothers, though. Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna just, single out where it is that our tax dollars go, then the police, respectfully. They beat on us I'm a black person.
I think she's starting to pick up on the, what I mean, what's happening here. Because I felt the shift just now. Nelly with the super chat, thank you so much, says, I find it hilarious when red pillars become pro-choice. When they found out their pullout game is 100%, you would be shocked. You would not be shocked. How many Trump voting Republicans have had abortions for them or their kids? Do as I say, not as I do. This is why I don't like people who don't walk the walk.
And as black people, they beat on us, they murder us, abuse us even now with Trump pushing the immigration deportation. That's bull. Because there's people who are here who have been immigrants 55 years, who work every single day, get up to provide for their families, and haven't seen their own parents in 30 years. And now they come to this country, they build a better life. They can't even make it to go back home. Like, now they're gonna get deported. They gotta leave their children. Like, it's so extensive. There are so many other issues that we need to worry about as far as women's bodies and their rights. It's crazy. But as far as being a woman, in any city or any state or any country, you should have the right to decide what you want to do. I shouldn't be forced to raise anyone's child because the state feels like this is what's beneficial. Oh, we need to be producing more children. Oh, there's such a loss in reproduction. We don't have money. There's no finance.
There's no finances to have kids. Exactly. This is why I talked about my podcast yesterday, right? The whether or not you should have a baby or not isn't even about autistic or holistic. It's about economy. It's about resources. It's about the village. You know what I mean? We can't even pay for eggs and you're trying to come out here and have a baby. And I get it. Humans are going to human. We're an animal species. We procreate. But that's why we have to have a deeper and higher relationship with our existence, right? There is no money to have these babies. And a lot of those babies who conservatives say just give them to other families, they don't end up with other families. They end up in the system. And then they end up being the people that you pick up and call criminals because they were raised by a system that never gave them a chance. We have to break a generational curse in our own families, in our own lives, and in our own systems.
This is for reproduction. This is why you go and you get an abortion, because I don't have
just like how you said we shouldn't be forced to raise other people's kids. We shouldn't be forced to pay for other people's abortions, because half the country, they don't believe in abortions, whether that's for scientific reasons, for religious reasons. And, we should respect that, right? If you want to go get a procedure, then you should be able to pay for it. Do you agree?
Not necessarily.
Or somebody else should pay for it.
now you put me up in the air, because saying that we're paying for a procedure is like, you want to get a BBL and my taxpayer dollars are paying for your silicone. That's different.
How is it different?
As opposed to be me being a 14-year-old girl in the Bronx who's gone through any.
That is different. Love her. I actually am not opposed to living in a world where our taxpayers, where billionaires are actually paying their fair share and there is enough money to go around to give people the care that they need. Because the truth is most of us are not going to sit there and spend millions of dollars of taxpayer money. We're going to spend the care that we need and we're going to stop. And the few that do, they're not even worth counting, in my opinion. We act like people are using the system by getting abortions. Like, ooh, I'm going to get pregnant on purpose and have an abortion on purpose. Like, all of us as taxpayers pay for things we don't want. That is just the truth. That's just the reality of being a part of a society.
Any kind of molestation, rape, anything, you really don't know what people go through. And I need to abort this baby and I don't have the right to, or I don't have the funds to, or I don't have the means to at all. Nowhere to go. There's no Planned Parenthood. There's no Medicaid. There's no anything that's beneficial to a younger youth, especially someone who's afraid to go to their parent. You can't go through your insurance. It's a lot. So to me, there's a difference in that, because taxpayer dollars pay for police who are still corrupt, pay for doctors who should be paid more because they literally save lives every day.
Look at her. She's so smart. I underestimated her because at first she didn't sound like she was involved, but she's involved. Like I misjudged this woman initially because of the way that she was talking about Planned Parenthood, and she looked like she wasn't sure about them, but she knows a lot. Okay, she knows enough. She knows enough to have this conversation and be frustrated with the talking points and the bullshit of this pro-lifer, anti-choicers rhetoric. Like, no wonder she's frustrated, because this isn't a good faith conversation. She came in super good faith, okay? And that's the problem with these people, is they're not coming in good faith. They want to get a clip, and look, they got a clip. That's why we're talking about her right now. You wanted a viral clip, you got one, girl.
Should go to nurses who put their lives on the line in emergency rooms, on the streets, who are literally legally obligated to do so. It's like, why aren't they getting the money as opposed to us providing the money to the billions that we just supported in the Ukraine?
Yeah. Every Planned Parenthood has donors as well, because they're a 501c3. So if you want to donate to Planned Parenthood, that's totally fine. You do that with your consent. But the issue that I think a lot of Americans have is that they don't believe in abortion, or they just don't believe.
Also, I don't believe that 50% of Americans don't believe in abortion.
Even paying for other people's medical business, and they're being forced to through our taxpayer dollars. So it's really interesting, because since 2010, prenatal care has been down for 80% since 2010 at Planned Parenthood. Adoption referrals. So this is why this is research straight from their yearly report of 2022 to 2023, I believe it is. And so they're a 501c3. They have to tell us what they do every single year. So this is straight.
Which should be any union corporation. If we are paying tax dollars towards you, I need to know that you are doing the job and doing it correctly.
Right. But let me continue to tell you. So the STI testing and treatment down 15% since 2019. Client numbers down overall 34% since 2006.
Isn't that because people are having less sex, so they need to get tested less? Isn't that good?
I has insurance. I don't have insurance.
Donors down 21%.
I have almost never had health insurance. I've been basically without health insurance for so long as an independent contractor, because like it's too expensive, even through like the Healthcare Act. Like, it's too expensive. Like, it's crazy the amount of, now I have healthcare because I'm living in Croatia and I pay them, right? But like, okay, like, what's your point?
Contraceptives down 44%, breast screenings, manual breast exams down over 80%, and you mentioned adoption. They commit 228 abortions for every one adoption referral.
Okay.
So why are they getting so much more money yet all of their services are
Adoption is less ethical to me than abortion.
going down?
The services are going down because people are afraid. Women.
What are they afraid of?
Women don't know. They don't know what they're exposing their bodies to. A lot of people, especially behind abortion, there's a stigma that if you get an abortion, you can never have a child again. So it's like a definitive decision. And this is the whole
There's
point.
a chance that you can't, because your uterus can be perforated, but their abortions are going up. So they used to have this slogan where they said safe, legal, and rare. That's what we want, safe, legal, and rare abortions, until it was exposed that a lot of these facilities were requiring abortion quotas. So the more abortions each facility did, the more like praise that they would get. They would get awards. And so it's really...
Quotas are a part of every industry, and they're bullshit across the board, from policing to medical care to insurance companies. Yeah, it's all bullshit. There shouldn't be quotas, but they're not making quotas to kill babies. They're making quotas to get funding.
Interesting. That doesn't really make it seem like they want safe, legal, and rare abortions.
As a New Yorker and a woman, I will say, I have never gotten an email that was promoting an abortion, that was saying, if you need this, it is safe.
Same.
This is something that we all...
I've been to Planned Parenthood so many times in my life, and not once did abortion come up. It's not like you go to the window and they're like, "Hi, would you like an abortion today?" It's not fucking McDonald's. I have a lot of female friends. I have a lot of people who can get pregnant in my life, and I don't know very many people who have had abortions. And I know a lot of people. Abortion's pretty fucking rare. Even if the numbers sound big, I need you to know how rare it is still.
Offer as a city, as insurance, as any kind of taxpayer, as any kind of beneficiary of what it is that we're paying toward. So from there, it's like taxpayer money. We don't know where this money goes at all. Any of us, honestly, unless you're really into your politics and you're digging in the books. Like,
no, I'm into it because that's a lot of money being taken,
sure it's a lot
and
of money.
It looks like it's going toward abortions. Which, why, if they're called Planned Parenthood, why are they not making it so that you are planning your parenthood, not just then end?
They do. They have that as well. See, this woman did not walk up on this street interview understanding what was about to happen to her. So just FYI. And this is also what it's like to have a conversation with anyone in my family about pro-life stuff. It's frustrating. Chet says, why is adopting unethical? I'm just asking because I thought about doing it. Depending on the organization you go through, adoption is basically buying children. You are spending sometimes $30,000 to adopt a child whose parents wanted them but couldn't afford them. That's bull. Parents who want their kids but can't afford it should not be adopting out their kids. They should be getting funding to keep their kids. Adoption is fine on the surface, but make sure the organization you're going through isn't ones that are just simply selling children, right? Is a lot of these pro-lifers, these anti-choicers, will create a system that makes you feel like giving up your baby is the most ethical thing to do because you can't take care of your baby, instead of realizing that you keeping that baby probably would have been better, because the statistical probability of that baby being given up, they don't get adopted, they stay in the system, and they end up incarcerated. It is better better for a baby to stay with parents who cannot like literally pay for them than to end up in a system that does not care about them anyways. It's just the message we're sending to these people. Like, you're giving your kid the best life possible. You're not giving your kid the best life. The best thing you can do for your kid is terminate their chances of coming into the universe preemptively, not having them at all, getting your tubes tied, having partners that agree with you, because this is very important, or having that kid and just raising it in a home that isn't the most stable is better than putting it up for adoption.
Ending it with an abortion.
Baby, how much money is Planned Parenthood supposed to give you every month, every 2 months, every 3 months for a child? The child care tax doesn't even cover child care.
Well, they don't do that, but pregnancy resource centers do.
Absolutely not.
No, they do not. I went to a pregnancy resource center. I went to one when I was a pro-lifer coming into my liberal phase. And I was like, I want to help girls in crisis who are pregnant. And they were like, you have to pledge to Jesus Christ. You can never recommend an abortion. You can never talk about birth control. These centers are bullshit because they're like cultists. They're like religious people, right? They only love you if you follow the rules. They're never accepting you.
You're gonna get a portion of the funding that you need. Similac a can is $43. $43 for Similac. In New York City on 126th Street, you're already paying $2,500 in rent to stay wherever you are. God forbid you don't have food stamps or WIC. Without any kind of governmental support,
she knows.
People would literally be like offing themselves because there's nothing else that you can do. Yeah. You can drop your child off at a fire safety. Just leave them.
Why don't we do that? Because there are over 2 million families waiting to adopt in America.
I don't think there really is. And these families, the savior complex is disgusting. And especially if they're brown kids getting adopted to white families, the savior complex is gross, bro. Listen to me when I say this. When you have a child, you must accept that they will one day look at you and say, you up this way. And the fact that adopted kids feel like they get less of a right to say that because these people say, but I rescued you. I saved you. 90% of people, in my opinion, aren't good enough to be parents. And that includes me, by the way. I'm a part of that 90%. Do you know why? Because I know better. I know that I don't even live up to my standard of what a good parent could be. If I got pregnant and had that baby, would I do my best? Yes. But I still wouldn't be up to standard. Doing my best does not mean I'm up to standard. And yes, there is compassion to be had here, that sometimes your best has to be good enough, but it doesn't mean that it really is. So when we talk about preventative care, and that's what abortion it is. Abortion is preventative care. It's the last step. Okay, we have a lot of other steps we could do before that, but the conservatives are blocking those options as well.
Literally abandon their children with no repercussions from the state.
No, it's called safe haven baby boxes. We're at a fire station or hospital. You can leave your baby and the mother doesn't have to do anything with it. But that's better than killing her baby through abortion, right?
No, ma'am.
It's not better to give your baby up to a family who wants them instead of killing them?
No, ma'am. I've seen so many stories and countless, literally like countless stories. My grandmother used to teach health and safety classes for people who wanted to become daycare providers. And we've seen so many instances where it's just, I could love you today. I love you to death. You're my baby. But as a teen mom, as a mom who's on her own, you have no support. You constantly have to provide. You're here day to day, day in out. It's crying, it's screaming, it's crying. You have nowhere to turn to. Now I stand you up and I shake you and I kill you. When I could have just not had you in the first place because it was never my plan.
You think that teen moms who struggle will end up killing their children after they're born?
Girl.
I'm trying to follow along.
Girl. See? This, by the way, this is what it's like to talk to my pro-life family. It is very aggravating. And then they push your buttons and they say the most outrageous shit for so long that you're like, girl? And then they go, see, this is why liberals can never have conversations. You guys get so emotional because you're being so fucked up right now.
Along with your story here.
I'm saying that there's a higher percentage of people who murder their children on accident out of frustration because they don't have the support.
This is why I need people to be educated and curious. If we really wanted to prevent deaths, we would understand that having a baby is a chemical shift in the brain, that your body is really going through it, that so many of the deaths you see of mothers going through psychosis, killing their children after having them is a medical emergency, that mothers will say, I can't have these babies are at risk, please take my babies away from me. And people will be like, you're fine, you're okay, we prayed for you. And then when they kill their children, you blame them instead of understanding like they were trying to get help because you keep treating them like, oh, it's so normal to have a baby. We are nature. We are animals. Animals eat their babies all the time. We need to make sure that we are putting people in positions to harm reduce. And sometimes that harm reduction looks like an abortion. Sometimes that harm reduction looks like sterilization. Sometimes, but it's always about the person choosing, not about the government coming in, but about the individuals making a choice about their body and their health. And I think it takes a very wise and educated person to even have these conversations. You know, I feel this way about being autistic. Sometimes sometimes I talk to my autistic friends and we talk about our struggles. And I'm like, I would never tell the internet this because I think sharing this with the internet, like they're not going to get it and it's not a safe space. I think it's very complicated to share the nuance of autistic struggle without people taking it out of context and twisting it just like this woman is doing here because they're not willing to hear you. They're not really seeing the situation for what it is.
Especially in communities like this where there's no funding, where there's no programs, where we don't have
shaken baby syndrome where they shake their baby.
It could be SIDS, but SIDS still also applies to you even laying your baby down on their back and they turn over the wrong direction. They will literally pass away.
Well, yeah, but that's like a death that, was going
It wasn't
to, is not,
preventable.
it was.
Not no,
but
SIDS
what is preventable?
SIDS is not preventable.
Well, actually, a large
Well,
percentage
the
of the children
acronym
who
for
die from
SIDS
SIDS had a vaccine the same day. So that
Girl. I did not see that coming. I'm shook. I have never heard somebody say that about SIDS before. SIDS is the most terrifying, destroying thing a couple or a parent or a person can go through. I can't believe she just said that. No empathy, dude. That is the most cruel thing I've ever heard said out loud. SIDS, if you've ever known anyone who experienced it, it is a devastating because they find every reason to blame themselves. You don't blame yourself. It's girl, nature made a decision and you are here to suffer through it. SIDS is not your fault. Oh my God. Oh my God, bro. Okay, breathe. Ready? It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse, guys. This conversation is gonna get worse.
that's another thing. That's a whole other
That's
story.
a whole other topic with the vaccine.
But I will say to you,
it's
like
sudden infant death syndrome, and there have been over 80% of infants who have passed away from it, and it's simply from not laying your baby on their back to sleep.
and that's horrible. But I mean, a million babies are also dying a year
And
from
lot of
abortion.
women, again, don't know that. You can die. What's the percentage of women dying from birth? For children that they don't even want, or the men don't even want, who are already refusing.
Did you guys hear about the influencer that just died? Complications with giving birth? America does not have a good reputation. You know why? Because dollar bills.
To provide for them prior to them even being born. So now what?
It doesn't matter if they're
be a single mom or put my body through this entirely different experience to at the end of it give them up and go home like nothing ever happened. That doesn't make sense to me. As opposed to you being put to sleep, boop boop, take the baby out. It's like you start over.
You don't, because we see post-abortive women and how they deal with abortion, and their chance of
not
turning
everyone.
toward drugs and alcohol skyrockets. They have problems.
What percentage is that?
No.
What percentage?
No. That is, where are you getting that number from? And also, just FYI, you're allowed to feel sad about your abortion. You're allowed to mourn the life that would have been, okay, that was and is no longer. You're allowed to feel bad that you had to have that abortion. And it can still be the best decision you ever made because it's about harm reduction. Now, because I think we're animals on a planet, I think abortion makes sense. I know so many pro-lifers who think the morning after pill is an abortion because they think you get pregnant the moment you have sex. They think you get pregnant the moment he comes inside you. That's not how it works. But if you think that's how it works, then you do think the morning after pill is abortion.
Well, I don't have the exact percentage, but I believe it goes up 150%.
And booty, girl. And you had the facts.
Do you know what happens in an abortion?
Yes.
What happens in an abortion?
They literally suck the life out of you. They're going to take the whole baby out. And as they should, because I shouldn't be a taxpayer paying child support and food stamps and WIC for
You
women
should be a
who never
taxpayer
wanted to
paying.
No. Now she's getting, stop it. The girl is getting upset because this talking point gets us upset. But she's not literally saying you should take a 9-month-old baby and suck it out of the womb. She's imagining what we all know to be true is the baby's about this big. It's a teeny tiny little bean and it's so precious and so beautiful and it's just not its time. Thank you for your service. It's not your time, sis. You know what I'm saying? That is what she's talking about. But now these pro-lifers are going to twist it. And I know this when I get angry, when I'm talking to people and I'm not in my best headspace, I will be like, yes, the babies, kill them all. But that's not what we mean because she's using emotional language to get her upset. She's using emotional language back. We'll be like, yeetus the fetus. Obviously, we're memeing. The truth is that we know for a fact we're dealing with a baby in development. Okay, we're dealing with a little babino, and that little babino is not going to feel the pain, is not going to know the difference. And at the end of the day, it doesn't have enough awareness for it to be unethical to terminate that pregnancy at that particular stage. And of course, all medical care is necessary, even with late stage abortion, which is very rare and doesn't even make sense. Abortion as a word is misunderstood by the masses because even when you have a stillbirth, it can get documented as an abortion, but we know a stillbirth isn't the abortion that these pro-lifers are thinking about, these anti-choicers are thinking about, right? We need to remember that we're dealing with human beings who are she's in her feels because this woman is using charged language to make her feel bad to get a clip.
For abortions?
Exactly. But as for a woman who didn't want the baby in the first place, that doesn't make sense to me. If you told me from the get-go, I can't do this, I don't have the funds.
Discourse said, I'm sorry, but I shouldn't be paying for WIC or food stamps and taxes for a baby you chose to have is such a terrible argument. I don't think you can be pro-choice and think this way. Okay, the argument is, this is the real argument. If we were preventative and educated, we would have less people to support and we wouldn't feel so burdened by supporting them. We only feel burdened by supporting them because we're not doing enough preventative care to not feel overwhelmed with the amount of support people need. If we truly supported people, okay, but we can't because you're animals on a planet. Like, I don't think people understand this. You can't save society from itself. We are a reflection of people as a whole. We are people. And because we're flawed as creatures, because of the way that we are, we can't guarantee you will be a good parent because most people aren't even, they're not even stable in their own lives. So again, this isn't a fixable problem. This is a problem you chip away slowly over time, person to person, as you reevaluate how we approach these topics. There are no solutions to these problems. Because the solutions don't account for how humans operate as people. We're not robots, we're animals. And there's a lot that goes into our biological experience. And so you have to do it. You have to break the generational curse. We all have to work on breaking those generational curses. And then that will be reflected in the system. And then the system takes advantage of the fact that you're not going to break that generational curse. The system takes advantage of the fact that we're uneducated. I don't think I should be having to pay for people's bad decisions and their irresponsible decisions. But I'm happy to pay for it because I know that at the end of the day, like, humans are going to human. We all have to pay for things we don't want to pay for. I never want to punish you for being a person. And I think we have enough money and wealth and resources around the world globally to help people. I do. I think we have it. I think we could do it.
I make $20 an hour in McDonald's and I live with my mother and I'm pregnant with twins and the father told me he doesn't want them.
Why is that the baby's fault?
Exactly my point. You think I should still follow through with this pregnancy?
Yes.
Why?
Because that baby has a life.
That's dumb. Bring 2 more kids into this world that nobody wants.
I want them.
80%. How? You're going to take everybody's baby?
Yes,
that's
I will.
80% baby.
Listen to that girl. Yeah, I'll take all your babies. Girl, your kids are definitely going to therapy when they get older, and half your kids are definitely going to be like, we're not going to visit mom this Christmas. You can talk about that all you want. Like, yes, I'll take their babies. I'll take all your babies. Girl.
That are 80% more likely to get put into the system, molested.
Where is that statistic from?
Girl. When no parent.
Oh, I like how she gave so many statistics. And girl, I'm going to.
What do you think the likeliness is of you being molested? Let's Google that right now. Literally. Because your stats
that's not the fault of pro-lifers, though. That's the fault of people that are molesters.
People who are not pro-life. That's the
people that are not pro-life want abortions.
Exactly. That's the people who are pro-life because you're going to say, I don't want people molested. I don't give a fuck about you before you're here. So why would I give a fuck about you when you're born?
I care about both.
Because 98% of the time.
I think the problem is like I hate this conversation. I hate that this is how people have conversations. None of this is a real conversation. They're not listening. They're not really hearing each other. They're just trying to get each other. One is frustrated because she came in so good faith. One is trying to get her, but you're not being serious. You're not having a real conversation. You're not actually trying to save lives or help people. Because again, in the pro-life, anti-choice world, there is no option. You only have one option. It's the pro-birth option. So you're not being serious about any conversation. And then the other girl, she should have left 10 minutes ago, but she's still engaging because now she's in it. But the truth is like the people who are going to see her go viral, they're not going to care about her or her argumentation or where she's coming from or why she's saying what she's saying. We can talk all day about how parents love their kids, but then why are they raping them? All day about how parents love their kids, then why are you rejecting them? How parents love their kids, then why are you beating them? But bell hooks would question if love exists and abuse is present. And then the pro-lifers, the anti-choicers will say, well, how is it killing a baby any better? Are you killing a baby if you have an abortion? Are you ending a human life and process at a time in which it's appropriate to save the life of the person who's very aware that they're here? There is a difference. And the fact that we're not willing to talk about that difference is the problem. There is a difference between taking a morning after pill and having an abortion. And I feel like until we can really have a big conversation about the differences, like these are not real conversations. These are not actual conversations. And that's why the world is a reflection of us as a whole, because we cannot tell the difference between a 10-week fetus and a Palestinian child.
It's the male who's going to say, we never decided this. This was never on my plate.
You decided it when you laid down and had sex.
You're going to turn around and decide, I'm going to have this baby after this man already told you, I don't want this baby. I don't want to be with you. I'm not going to provide. And you proceeded. Now he looks bad?
Yeah, so my dad didn't want me, but my mom didn't kill me just because my dad didn't want me.
But and that's her choice.
No, it wasn't her choice.
That is
because
her
it's
choice.
my that was my body inside of her body.
Abortion.
It wouldn't have been unsafe because I would have died. How is an abortion
Exactly.
safe if a baby
Girl,
dies?
You're an embryo.
Yeah, an embryo of what?
Of nothing, really.
Of a
because
human.
An embryo, no, you
It's
don't
just a
even,
stage of human development.
You do not even have any kind of.
I agree with her. It is a stage of human development, and there's nothing unethical with ending that stage of development. It's like when you take the cake out of the oven before it's like fully formed. It's not a cake yet. I mean, it's gonna be a cake, and I'm mad you ruined my cake, as Bill Burr would say. But it's not really a cake yet, and you know it's not a cake yet. But you also call it a cake because it is gonna be a cake. But it's not technically a cake. It's batter. You know what I'm saying?
Of limbs yet. You don't even feel physical.
Some people that are born
in the
don't
right
have limbs.
direction.
Some people that are born are paralyzed.
You need to know what you're doing. You need to just protect yourself if you can.
Yeah.
And honestly, don't have babies with people who don't want to have babies with you. Because people.
But when you're pregnant, you already have a baby.
That you need to be pro-life, and you don't. Don't ever sit here and lock yourself down with a man who already told you he doesn't want to be with you. He doesn't.
I agree with you.
I'm not disagreeing with you
But,
either. I understand.
You don't get to kill the
But what
baby
I'm
just
saying
because their dad didn't
is
want
that
them.
you can.
Should we kill the kids in foster care? And
Why not?
that are-
Why?
No. Now she's in her emotions, and she's not actually making that argument. She is, I'm going to use this word, but I don't mean it medically. She's biologically triggered. She's having like an emotional response to the conversation because it's not a safe space. She does not mean this. Because I know, because I've had enough debates in my life to know people don't mean this. They say it when they're under like, they're frustrated, right? It's so bad faith on the other point that you become bad faith in your argument. So I don't believe she means this.
Not if that's the case.
we should kill the kids in foster care that aren't wanted.
Who's going to take care of them? I need to know the percentage of people who take children from foster care.
What she's thinking now is she's still thinking about abortion. So the interviewer thinks, okay, we're on the same page. We're going to kill babies in foster care. But I would bet that this woman is now thinking about abortion. She's not thinking about literal babies in foster care. She's still thinking about abortion. But now the woman in the blue dress is going to play this whole game about how she wants to kill babies in foster care. But that's not how human brains work. Human brains do not work this way. I really think like this is such a, I've been through this. This is why I don't do debates anymore on panels, because the debate makes you crazy. It makes you like start arguing things you don't even believe in because the person is arguing things that are so bad faith.
And abuse them and molest them, who makes them like personal slaves.
We should just kill them.
Statistics before you come to me talking about pro-life.
We should kill the victims of molestation.
I think.
See how she's doing that? Oh, so we should kill the victims of molestation. I hate that. This is so bad faith. This is so cruel. It's so cruel that a woman put another woman in this position to have this reaction. And it's so cruel that we're not understanding, like, this is so human. This is what happens to a lot of us. I hate this.
What does this have to do with molestation?
You just mentioned people molesting children. We should kill the kids in foster care is what you said.
What I'm saying is in general, overall. If I don't want to have a baby, I should have the choice to.
Just don't have sex then. Just don't have sex.
That's not even logical.
It is. It is.
Who are you, Nancy?
I sound dumb.
You do.
Okay.
It does, because even as teens, people explore. And it's like, as funny as you want to be, people should still have the choice. I don't give a if it's, oh, no. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Chad says the worst part is that she's acting non-emotional but saying inflammatory words to the other woman, so the other woman looks crazy and she looks illogical. It's exactly the debate tactic. The best thing to do when people are getting louder is to get quieter. You automatically look like you're the logical one. You automatically look like you've won the debate. I hate it. Like, it is true though. That's 100% a tactic. This is a tactic by the woman in the blue dress.
Oh, it was a mistake today. Oh my God.
Do you believe in God? Do you believe in God? Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you believe God makes mistakes?
Yes.
He does?
Of course. Everybody makes mistakes.
But God is perfect. Are you a Christian?
I never said that.
Are you a Christian?
I would never say that.
Are you a Christian?
My family's Christian.
So you're not a Christian?
I guess.
You guess what?
Based off of what's going on in the, I guess my lineage is Christian. I wouldn't say that my full belief is a Christian belief. There's no abortion. You have to stay married. If you're pregnant with that man, you have to be married. There's so many like restrictions and constrictions when it comes to religion. That is.
There's a reason for that because it protects people.
But that's dumb as because religion is all hearsay, baby. All you listening to is a Bible that somebody else told you, somebody else wrote.
Nobody told me. I've literally encountered God.
So you spoke to God and he told you everything in the Bible. Shut the fuck up.
He first spoke to me.
You sound dumb as fuck. Listen, there's a thing called cosmopolitanism. which literally is saying there's this one big glorious story that combines all of the religions. Because if you read the Bible, you can search into Buddhism, being a Muslim, anything that you need, they all kind of provide the same story in a different version. But it's still all hearsay. It's all hearsay. It's all, my auntie told me.
My auntie didn't tell me.
My auntie told me. You think these biblical writings are...
I'm sorry, just to make it a point, this is my frustration, is that people get to say they witnessed God, they had a relationship with God, I've met God, and they're the ones we have to contend with. We have to, and 80% of the world believes in religion, guys. Religion really is a problem. It is a deep part of our evolutionary process. We really created the myth of God to give us like some sense of moving forward. But there's nothing wrong with being a faith person. But ultimately, if you think you are communing with God, you're having a relationship with a God, and so therefore you get to dictate everyone else's life, like this is the reality a lot of us have to contend with. When I say the world's a reflection of us as a whole, I accept that I'm not there. I accept, right, that I am not in that bubble anymore where I believe in a God, but I exist on a planet where most people do. And I accept that when I die, most people will still be believing in God. And so I do my best with what I can in that framework. But like, this is why I don't have religious friends. That's why I don't really have even conservative friends, right? Like, this is why I don't, like, I have family members. Those are different. But like, when I make new friends, I'm very good at like cutting off new people from my life, like very fast. Like, I don't want a diverse friend group of people. Like, I work in diversity for my job. Like, my diverse friend group is not going to also include people that are pro-Israel or people that are pro-Trump or people that are like, I don't need chosen friends who, when I interact with them, this is what it feels like. But I like diversity of culture. I like diversity of thought, as long as your culture also includes other people getting to live how they want. You can't believe in diversity and then believe that everyone should be like you. In my world, religious people get to exist, but in their world, I don't. And that's the problem.
Are all just what? Off the brick? Like, you can't be that naive.
There are over 40 men that actually wrote the Bible.
Oh my God, you one of those.
That's just the history. That's just the history of Jesus Christ and the Bible.
It's not. We started from Pangea.
So what does the Bible say about human life?
Big Bang Theory. Our entire life is science and math, and I think you're an idiot if you don't think it is.
So you went from saying that my outfit was really cute to saying I'm an effing idiot. That's so mean.
But I think that
you
your
did.
view is very obstructed, and I think that you just don't understand the magnitude of having a child.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
Oh God, it scared me. It came out of nowhere, bro. We're gonna rewind it. Came out of nowhere.
I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
What's wrong with you?
Oh my God.
She attacked my wife.
Your wife just attacked me.
I don't know why it's muted. I don't know why he muted this part.
She just punched me in the face. We were just doing a street interview with my camera and everything was fine for over 20 minutes or however long we were filming, and then she just punched me in the face. Oh my God.
Oh damn! She got fucked up! Oh damn! She got fucked up! Oh my God! Oh my God!
She just punched me in the face.
Oh
we were
my
just doing
God.
a street interview with my camera and everything was fine for over 20 minutes or however long we were filming, and then she just punched me in the face.
Oh, whoa. Damn. Okay. Well, first of all, everything was not fine leading up into this moment. The reading the room she must be autistic because she was not reading the signs. Everything was escalating because she was escalating. Okay. So I don't know what that was about. Violence is almost never the answer. And in this instance, it was very inappropriate to hit this woman. I don't condone it. I don't feel bad about it, but I don't condone it. Because I think this woman doesn't deserve to go to prison and she should not have it on her record. And she deserves a good life because she seems like a good person who is really having a biological moment. Because I have, as a person who has a pro-life family, have wanted to kill myself because of the way they talk to you. So she lashed out with a punch. I don't even think it was premeditated. I think it was completely emotional, right? But let me tell you, I'm on the other side. I've never hit anyone, but I've wanted to kill myself because of the way you all talk to people. The way these people dehumanize you and talk to you and tear you apart and sit there and feel holier than thou. You make life worse for other people while thinking you were trying to make the world better. This woman should not have hit this woman. This is not the answer. This is the reality of what it's like to be on a planet with people. We are having a biological experience. And the fact that you couldn't understand that it was escalating is shocking to me, even though I think you did. I think you are grateful for this clip. I think you wanted that clip. And I think you're glad she hit you. Because I think you were thinking, this is going to go viral. And it did, girl. Congratulations. Now we've all seen your face. Okay? But it feels very much like the boys who do in real life streams, IRL streams, and they bother the public, they harass the public, and then they wonder why the public hits back. It really sucks that the public has to do so much to be the bigger person, but we do. We have to continue to be the bigger people. The public has to continue to be bigger people. We have to. As adults in the community, we have to be the bigger people. I do think, though, we should have conversations about how these street interviews, can be very harassing to the public. Okay? We can't keep harassing the public this way. So I won't condone the violence. And though I don't feel bad for her, I don't think that other woman, it's same thing with Luigi. I don't feel bad for the guy Luigi killed, but I don't think that was the right answer. And I don't think that was worth throwing away Luigi's life. For what? Like, why is this worth throwing your life away? But I don't think that these decisions are made because we're like perfectly logical creatures. I don't feel bad for that man who got killed. I don't feel bad for this woman who got punched. I feel bad for the fact that people get to a point where they think this is the only action they can take. I feel bad that woman who hit her felt like this was her only option. I feel bad that Luigi felt like this was his only option. We need to give people better options. You want to talk about preventing violence? This woman did none of the preventative care. The woman in the blue dress. She wants to know how people get to the point where the only other choice they have is violence. Stop putting people in positions where their only reaction after being pushed into a corner feels like violence. And at the same time, without victim blaming, okay? This woman should never have been punched. We should never have been put in a position where this woman got punched. In the same way, we shouldn't be in positions where we have to take people's lives. Humans are going to human, I guess, you know? Discourse said I feel iffy about that. I don't think she should be in jail either, but punching someone in the context, even out of a biological experience, is just way out of line. Well, of course it's out of line. It doesn't, I'm just explaining why it happened. You can't just go around punching people. She should get in trouble. And the trouble should be reasonable. And the trouble should be, something that makes sense, right? I agree. We don't want to live in a society where people are just out here punching each other. But I also think we need to pay attention to the fact that, this woman was putting her in a corner in a way that we don't understand because we're not ready to have those real conversations. But psychologically, it feels like a corner. It feels like you are talking to a crazy person who feels indignant, who's sitting on their molehill of virtue signaling. And it feels like they are dehumanizing you and objectifying you and making you feel like you were cornered like an animal. Because we are animals. We are animals on a planet. And so for the audacity of this blue-dressed woman to sit there and tell us she's talked to God, she's communed with God. Okay, is this godly behavior? Is this what God told you to do with your life? Get on the street and harass women who are suffering, who are helping their underprivileged communities? Is this what God told you to do? Your God sucks, because this is piece of shit behavior. It is shitty behavior to get on the street and to accuse people of wanting to murder babies when you know that's not what they're doing. Pro-choices aren't interested in murdering babies. They're not having the same reaction or relationship to life that you are having. And pro-lifers are some of the most violent and baby-killing people I've ever seen in my life. They just kill babies that are in other countries. But this is a perfect example of humans gonna human. I really wish that woman had stopped talking to her, because that woman has so many other things she could do with her life that I think will be so much better for her. And this woman here in the blue dress, she could be doing so many other things with her life. But instead, she's on the street having bad faith conversations with people in vulnerable situations who are looking for compassion and care. And instead, she sits there and pushes their buttons so she can get a viral moment. Congratulations on getting your viral moment.